Right on, Christopher. Well, welcome back to Iblis Manifestations, man. I mean, first off, how are you doing? I think you are about the only person I know other than myself. No, let me rephrase that. I think you are the only person I know who is busier than I am. I can't say that about anyone else. So, first of all, how have you been doing?
Thanks so much, man. I'm really happy to be back in the Iblis Manifestation and have a good chat with you. I'm doing pretty good. I came back yesterday from Prague. Was at the festival Prague did Mass, working as house photographer for them. So honestly, it's been crazy. A lot of things to do. I haven't stopped for a long time. I think my body start feeling it, but the motivation's still high. And when you build up a momentum, you have to keep up that momentum up, doesn't matter what, because that's what it is. And at least for me. And I mean, I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy to be here and talking with you. How are you doing?
Awesome, man. No, it's a pleasure to have you back on here. I mean, there's quite a few things, a few updates since the last time you were on the show. Obviously, that was a great
Many.
episode. Yeah, we will get into that. We might have just started World War III finally, but we'll get into that. But yeah, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened, you know, and obviously people loved the last episode that we did together and had lots of great feedback. But and it was a very interesting one just to be a part of, you know. So one of the first things that I guess we can just talk about. I mean, first of all, just how was Prague Deathmatch? Because the lineup for that just looked absolutely fucking insane.
I mean, it was pretty good. Many years ago, I was at the Practice Master third edition. I missed the first and the second, but I got to the third edition, and to be honest, it's been probably one of my top three festivals that I ever been. Uh,
Wow.
the atmosphere is really good always. I mean, what can I say? It's like for starting with Prague is a really, how can I say it? It's a city with a lot of dark history, and even like that today, that actually is pretty touristic. That dark approach of the city still in the atmosphere. I mean, part of the essence of that place is like back in the days, a lot of alchemy, a lot of things like this, like occult science back sorry, back in the days. That, I mean, that is part of the core of the place. So actually I feel it's like the perfect place for this kind of festival. And the people, the promoters, are people really passionate, so they are really into what they are doing. So actually now the actual promoter, he played in two of the bands that were part of the festival. So actually, you really feel like the people were really into it actually. And
Mm.
yeah, it was a lot of work. I did a lot of like what, like maybe three photo sessions Friday, and I think probably like four or photo sessions Saturday, aside of working shooting all the bands. And I mean, it was amazing. It was really high tempo all the time, running from one place to other, between shooting. Like I started like shooting one band, running to do a photo session, then running back to continue shooting the same band. Because I mean, first of all, for me, it's like I liked all the bands that they were playing. I didn't want to miss anything, but at the same time, I had work to do. So I
Yeah.
have like, it was a pretty high tempo thing, but it was amazing. It went everything really. I mean, control chaos, just improvise, and everything was even great, even great, really good.
And I do really have to say, I mean, for anyone listening, that Christopher, you are by far one of the most, if not the most professional photographer I have ever worked with, because I've seen this. So this process that you're explaining to me, um, I've seen this firsthand when we did the
No, when I
Tridents
shoot
photo
you,
shoot. Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
exactly, exactly. Miss Perrine was playing at that moment, and I just get out of the stage, shoot, I get out of shooting with them, run, then I cross path with you. I was like, okay, let's do it now. Shoot photos with you, then run back and continue shooting Miss Perrine. So it was
Yeah,
exactly the same in Cosmic Void.
no, it was great, and it took us what 5 minutes because I still managed to catch most of their set, you know, and
Yeah.
obviously they were fucking brilliant. But yeah, it was great, and how iconic these photos turned out as well. Obviously, I like the idea that you had, for anyone who's seen this, actually, this was your idea for me to have the flag and whatnot, and it actually turned out to be some pretty iconic shots, which we've now used in a bigger context. But yeah, always, like, I think that, like I said, took us maybe like 5 minutes. It was just like, okay, let's try this, let's try that, let's try that, boom, 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 done. And then it was fucking great, so I'm sure it will have been the same for those other bands involved as well. So
I mean, I try to improvise a lot when I shoot in my part of my workflow. I mean, in a way I improvise, but in another way, if you see, I have a really a clear idea in my mind about what I wanted to shoot with you. So I try to go straight to the point. I know you just get out of the stage. You're probably tired. You're in a high tempo as well. I don't want to take too much of your time. I want to capture your essence, but at the same time, not really stress something. So I just thought, like, let's do this. Everything went smooth. We shoot. We are done. We continue what we were doing. Simple as that. I mean, before I go to shoot, I already built a connection with you. So I already know you in as a person and as an artist. So I just go to capture who you are and what you like to do. So that's why I always analyzing things. I already knew. I saw your performance. I enjoyed the concert. I was just thinking while you were on stage. I saw you with a flag. I was like, something that I wanted to put up. That's why I told you right away when you went out of stage, don't pack the flag, because I already knew what I wanted to shoot, and it was smooth. So it's the way that it should be, instead of stressing like, why did you have to do like a photo session for 1 hour? And I know the artist, you're tired, you want probably to get a drink or whatever. You have a signing session as well. So you were in high tempo. So I don't want to take too much of your time, and just straightforward to the point, and boom, that's it.
It was. And you know what? I totally appreciate that. I think, I'm assuming it's the same for yourself too, but I find that I thrive better on high pressure situations, where it's like, you've got to finish line check by certain time, you got to be on stage, off stage certain time, you gotta go and pack everything, then go do the signing session, then go do the photo shoot, then come back out and then speak to so and so from that label, and then speak to that magazine, and like, I fucking love that, and then still obviously in between make time to watch your friends perform. I love this life, like, I'd never fucking change it. It's fucking great. But let's take a step back now. Now, this is, I guess, aside from these certain updates that we've had, I guess one of the main things that we probably wanted to talk about was your recent visit to Israel. Now, by the time this episode comes out, people will have already seen my conversation with Bjorn and Dogger. And obviously, Bjorn and I kind of very briefly went over this, and then we talked about how obviously that whole photo shoot that you guys did went down. But also, it's important to point out that moments after that photo shoot, I mean, by moments, we're talking about maybe perhaps a few hours, which is not a long time, is exactly when the attacks of Hamas took place, the horrific attacks that the civilians had to experience. So, and obviously that's a complicated subject of its own, which I have previously tried to cover on here, but let's just talk about the photo shoot first of all. I mean, how did the idea come up? What was your plans for it? What was your method? How did it go? And how was it compared to what you expected it would be? And how do you feel about the outcome?
Okay, actually, the invitation for me to be part of the Black Knight sorceries in Israel came long ago. So I had right away, when I was invited, this idea, like, I would like to shoot with one band, do some sort of photo session in the Holy Land somehow. Actually, there was a band that they were trying to book, didn't work. But I talked with a band, a black metal band. I talked with them, and I told them, I hope we could do something like this, and I hope we get arrested. It was kind of a joke, but I mean,
I love your attitude,
but at the same
man.
time, but I was like, let's see. Actually, I was just trying to push buttons around to see like who dared to do it. Then with time, it was fun because Jonata from Darvaza and Nubivagan, he played some months before the festival, he played as Novivagan in Israel as well, and he told me about. He reached out of me. He told me he liked a lot the atmosphere. It's really epic. It's really, I mean, it's the core in a way of what is black metal, because black metal is mostly about Abrahamic religions in general. And he was like the atmosphere, the countryside, Jerusalem, everything. And he told me like I would like to do a photo session for Darvaza there, and somehow maybe in the countryside, something. I was like, I'm up for it. Let's do it. We talk a little bit about it, more or less. We have some ideas. Then with the conversation evolved that Bjorn had the idea of do it in public somehow. I was when he told me, "Are you up for it?" I was like, "I'm totally up for it." The main idea first was like, let's do it just some sort of foods and stuff, something really cautious. But we are quite of idiots, so we were not cautious.
Bjorn said
So
he's the king of bad ideas,
yeah,
but
exactly,
also
exactly.
I would add at the same time brilliant ones.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And then we talk a little bit about it. Then when we were at the festival, one of the organizers, this guy called Tal, he was talking with Bjorn outside. I just went out of my exhibition for a moment because I needed a pause just to take a walk and stuff. And right on when I was walking outside, I heard someone saying, "Christopher." I was like, "What's going on?" Ah, Bjorn. I was like, "Hey, we're just talking about the photo session for tomorrow." I was like, "Perfect. Then we are here then. What is the deal?" And Tal was telling like, well, if you guys have the idea to shoot in Jerusalem, it might work. It could be dangerous. You have to act fast. You have to be careful. Things can ignite in a second. So just so you are aware about the situation. We both said, Bjorn and I, like, yeah, we are pretty sure about it. It's not gonna be easy, but it might work. And then Tal asked, which place are you thinking to do the session? And I said, Via Dolorosa. And his expression was, ooh,
Uh-huh.
ooh. When you hear a
Yeah.
local saying that, is a person that live in Tel Aviv and know about the area, been there many times, saying that like that, you know it's going to be tricky. And he was like, well, now you're playing with fire. That place will be dangerous because uh, in that place it gathers all the three Abrahamic religions. So you have many Orthodox people around. Yes, there are plenty of tourists, but who are the tourists that are going there? Religious people.
Mm.
So
Sure.
it's like, so it will be really tricky. And we talked with Bjorn, we want to do with corpse paint, everything like exactly how he look on stage. Then I told I said I like the Via Dolorosa because the meaning of the place, that's the path that Jesus walked towards the crucifixion carrying the cross. I really would like to do it there. Bjorn said, let's go for it. And then he told me, if something happened that hell break loose, we get attacked or something, he said, leave me alone and I take the hit. And I told him, we are here together, we go down together. Simple as that. I know pretty well if someone attack me, you're not gonna leave me. And if something happened to you, I'm not gonna leave you either. Either way. So we are here. We are doing this together. So we are connected on this. It was like,
Listen,
fuck
that
off, whatever.
attitude, that attitude speaks to my soul, man. I relate to that so much, and I love it. It's refreshing to see.
It's the way it should be. I mean, we're taking the risk together, so we are there standing together. So I know pretty well that he will not have left me alone and run away. That's not
Mm.
Bjorn,
No.
I'm sure. I mean, uh, for the way that I am, for me, it's really important to have like a. I mean, I respect him as an artist, but I also respect him as my friend. So in any moment, I will leave a friend alone when situations are getting out of control. We were connected on that. We got on a big group. Actually, it was pretty nice. Then the day after we went to Jerusalem. It was the guys from Dead Worship, Basak Saxa, Ungod, Achilles. Well, Josh from Achilles was there. Uh,
Hmm.
as I said, dead worship. It was a lot of people. We were in a big group there, so we were just like actually we were just hanging out first, look in the area. We thought the idea like let's do something. Let's just go around, enjoy the place, feel the atmosphere, look around how it is, how people react towards us, and then at the end, before we leave, we go and shoot. Perfect. I'm go for it. I'm up for it. I really like the cultural approach of part of my work as a photographer is culture, not only metal. So I said like it's fine. We went to the Western Wall. It was a lot of Orthodox people. You could see as close as you get to the most religious side, the tension start building. People were not comfortable with us. Actually, happened to Ryan of Dead Worship. He was walking around. I mean, when he's not on stage, he looks like just a regular guy. He have tattoos and stuff, but I mean, he doesn't look extreme or something. And someone screamed to him like, "You're the ugliest thing that I have ever seen."
In
So
English,
in English.
presumably. Wow.
So many people were already
That was
getting like,
nice of them. Wow.
yeah, exactly. Someone said that to me. I take it as a compliment. I was like, thanks, but I mean, it didn't happen to me. But some people approached, and it was like, asking like, "Oh, you guys are hell angels. You guys play in a band. Why are so many people that look like you right now around here?" I mean, they were really concerned actually. So I was fine. I explained like, I mean, we were playing in a festival. I'm a photographer. We came to explore the city. That's it.
Can I
And it
just
was
ask
nice.
for a second? Because obviously, I understand that there's the religious tension, and then people are obviously very emotive and very charged when it comes to these things. So, any kind of alien presence, especially
Mm,
when you're literally representing the opposer in
mm,
especially groups of people in a place where the
mm.
opposite is taking place, and is quite sacred. Um, that I understand, but could you explain exactly in what ways you anticipated that this would be dangerous? Like, is this something that the authorities do, or is this something that you anticipate that the religious people there, I don't know if they might be carrying knives, or if you expect that something could go out of control, like, or
Yeah.
what's even the kind of security level like around there? Because I would
Okay.
expect it's quite strong. So exactly where does this danger element come from?
When you cross towards the part that is where it's a western wall, you have to pass a metal detector. They check you, so that you don't have anything, just to get across that part. That part. But when you get out of that area, you're on your own. There is a lot of security. There is a lot of militaries carrying like hoods and stuff that you only see the eyes of them and stuff there with shotguns and machine guns and all kind of weapons. And I got told by a local that he was a friend of us, that he was there with us. He said, "Be careful with them because yeah, they are there to keep control of situations, but they can be really judgmental as well." So I was like,
Hmm.
"Well, you know better than me. For me, usually militaries and police and stuff are just to take care of the situation, but yeah," he said like they can be really savage sometimes. I was like, okay, well, if you say so. And as I said, we don't look that the most the people that welcome like how's it called uh, we don't we were not in the area feeling welcome already from the looks that we got around, the comments that screams and stuff. One woman came screaming to us, "There is only one God that you should praise," and stuff, blah, blah, blah. So we just didn't pay attention, walk
And
away,
out of
laugh a
curiosity,
little.
could you tell what was her religious orientation? Meaning, was she wearing a hijab, or was she, do you think, maybe a Christian or Jewish person?
When you were near the Western Wall, it was Orthodox use. But when you get out of
Uh,
there, that comes the interesting part. When you cross to Via Dolorosa, that's the place where all three major religions gather. There was one side that is a Muslim quarter. There is another side that is the Orthodox Jews. And there is another part that are Armenian Christians that are Orthodox as well. What happened? The day before, when we were there, it was Jewish holiday. Just the day before, we're in the news. The Orthodox Jews didn't want the Christians in the area, so they were like attacking, spitting, throwing stuff to them because they wanted to clear the area just for them. What happened? I mean, if they are fighting
right.
between each other, and we look like how we look, they were already looking at us like pretty weird. So we felt the tension. Then we crossed. to the. We went to one area that was one church. I don't remember exactly which was it, but for that you have to cross the Muslim quarter. Over there, people were really staring at us in a not welcome way. You could feel that the tension was building. What
I know that feeling.
I yeah. Then the Armenian Christians, I heard that they are really orthodox and they don't spit at you, they don't insult you, they just get triggered and stab you.
Oh,
So so it was like beautiful. Then
nice.
when we were, I mean, we went out, we walk around first, then we were like probably like 10 minutes walk from Via Dolorosa, and then you just look at Bjorn and so like, so it's about time, let's do it, let's do it, let's go there.
Mm, it is
Josh
time.
was with there. Yeah, Josh was with us from Achilles, and the idea was like, we were only three of us. We approached the area. If The idea was that while we are shooting, he kept an eye around. If he see that something is approaching or something is getting bad, he could just like warn us and let's get out of the place. The idea was that Bjorn was going to change in a public bathroom, get ready, and just go out and we shoot. But it looks like, I mean, a public bathroom. I didn't saw it as a good idea, to be honest, because there was people going in and out all the time. And we got to Via Dolorosa. Uh, I found a side street that it was empty, and I told him, "Look, there's no one coming here. Let's do it here." And he was like, "Sure." So he started changing, getting ready. After a while, the some of the guys from Darvaza arrived. They were there just like looking also that no one is coming inside the street. Then a group of mostly women, three of them crossed, and Bjorn was already fixing his corpse saying, and they were just looking really like confused, but they didn't say anything. They just walked pretty fast and went away. Then
Usually, if
you
that
could feel.
happens in like a UK bathroom, usually just have some bystander, some fucking local punter saying, "Oh, are you in like a Kiss tribute band?" And then that's
Yeah,
usually
exactly.
about as
Yeah,
far as it goes.
same in Sweden. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
But
I
over
guess it's
there
different over there.
it's different. Then
Yeah.
I just saw that he put up the T-shirt with a catharsis T-shirt with a Jesus like band.
Yes,
That
perfect
was like, this
touch.
is brilliant, perfect, the perfect T-shirt. And then he was ready, and near the area where we were was exactly a patrol control from the militaries in one side. I mean, 20 meters away from us was in the other side the Armenian church. To the other side, right away, the Muslim quarter, and to the other side, the Jews. Everything was there. We were. There's an expression in Spanish. It says like, when you get really in a bad place, you were in the mouth of the wolf. We were at in the mouth of the wolf
Mm,
at that moment. You
yeah, I
only have to
gotcha.
bite us. Uh,
And
then
then with obviously with all three religions being there, I presume that Van Halen was also doing a concert like that South Park episode, right?
yeah, bro, yeah, and then it was fun
Sorry,
because
that's a
he said,
terrible interjection. Please carry on.
yeah, and then it's like, as not long ago talking with Attila actually in private mass,
Mhm.
he said, everyone, all those religions fight between each other, and something that they have in common is they hate us. So,
Mm.
so it was like, I mean, they're fighting between each other, but something is like that they agree. It's like we are worse than any of them together. So it's like, we got to and when, well, the tension was building. I could feel it already. I mean, we were. No, I'm not gonna say nervous, but we were really cautious. We were in a state of mind already. I mean, we're not joking. We were nothing. We were just like getting into the moment. It's like when you got out before you got up on stage, the anticipation, you're building out the energy. So that's what was happening.
Yeah.
I was already camera ready and everything. For me, I have the pressure that I knew that I didn't have a second chance.
That's
We
right.
go outside. I need to get the shot. I will have felt terrible with myself that we get there, and then I look at the photos, blurry or out of focus or wrong. How's called settings. I was really like, nothing can go wrong because I don't have a second opportunity. I cannot tell Bjorn later, we have to go back to shoot again. That's not going to happen. We talk max 30 seconds shooting, no more than that. Perfect. In a
Okay.
moment when Bjorn was almost ready, I look at Jonata and I tell him, can you check if the military are still there? He went out. He said they just left because they were patrolling the street back and forward. So when the moment that they leave, you know they're coming back at some point, but it's better to they don't have them close in that moment. So he said they just left, and Bjorn says, "Let's do it." He walked in front of me. I walk exactly behind of him, pretty close. We got into the main street. We walked towards the place where it was the sign of Via Dolorosa. Exactly in that moment, Bjorn turned around. I was like 1 meter away from him. I have the camera ready just to press the trigger and shoot. He's he stand up, and in that moment, one woman was crossing with 2 kids. One of the kids looked at him, really shocked, and pointed at him like this. Like I don't understand what the mother said, but they run for the place. The mother took them and run for the place. In that moment, in that second,
Oh
I
man.
noticed that everything can be ignited doesn't in seconds. So
Mm.
for I just got in that situation, I got in tunnel vision. I didn't thought about my safety. I just thought over there is only Bjorn and me in that street, no one else. I saw shadows crossing around, but I didn't realize if it was a woman, a man, a Muslim, a Chinese, or a Jew or a Christian. I didn't notice anything. I just know for me in my mind it was I just want to capture those shadows crossing with Bjorn. I
Hmm.
will figure it out later what it is. So I just got a little bit more of this sense of him. He started posing. That's when he did the like shocking
Yeah.
his neck and stuff. Uh,
He does
we
that
he
pose
say
even in normal friendly pictures, so it must
yeah
be second
yeah
nature to
exactly.
him.
But when you are with that corpse paint, you're a guy that tall with that many tattoos with a band Jesus catharsis T-shirt. You know that in that place is the wrong place to do that.
Yeah,
People
that's
were
the
really
epitome. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Then I just shoot pretty fast. I continue shooting all the time, getting. Then I just hear Bjorn says, "Stop! You got it." Say yes. We walk away. We got out of the place. To be honest, I didn't notice anything what was in my surrender. We just got back to the street. The guys that were there, they just blocked the the entry to that street. So we vanished from the place. He got there. He started like pouring water over him to take out the corpse. And I just look at him and I just say, "Motherfucker, we did it!" And I was like, "Yeah." I mean, you feel like I get goosebumps. I was like, the adrenaline rush was like
Nice.
eating me in that moment. I just felt like it was something really intense that we did in that moment after breathing like fuck I did it. I just got my camera, I look at it, and I just saw these photos of people really disturbed next to us. Like I was like, "Fuck!" I didn't saw their faces. I didn't notice people were like that. I didn't knew in seconds people. The other people who were behind, they said they lost sight of us. It was so many people around me in my back. There was two guys really close from me, like half, maybe less than half a meter from me. I never noticed it was someone there. That people behind me, they could have stabbed me easily in the back.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
no one would have protected me
I
in that
mean,
moment.
you had Josh at least looking out for you, right? From
Yeah,
Atlas.
exactly. But yeah, Josh was definitely a good help. But to be honest, at that distance, someone behind me stabbed me. Yeah, he will help me when the
Mm.
knife is already in my back.
If they had tried to surprise you, basically, they would have
Exactly,
succeeded, is what
exactly.
you're
Because
saying.
people were already building it up in the area, so actually you could
Mm.
feel when I saw the photos like behind the scene, you could see the tension there. I was like, damn it, I didn't notice anything of that. I was like, I'm happy that I didn't saw anything of it because then you get more pressure. And what I wanted is to focus completely on capturing the photo. In that moment, I didn't thought about my safety or anything like that. But when I saw the photos later that I shoot, I was like, fuck. I just look at Bjorn and I was like, we made history here.
Yeah,
I
you
don't want
did. Yeah.
I don't like to put titles on myself or on my work because I feel I should not label what I do I should get the recognition from others. Uh, I even didn't call myself a photographer or an artist for a long time until people start saying, "Ah, you're the photographer." That means people already consider me that. That's when I feel I earned the title. I didn't ever got the camera and said like, "I'm a photographer." No, that doesn't work for me that way. So, but look at him and I said like, no one in the history of black metal has done a photo so risky like this. In a way, like, yes, you could have done something with fire or in a dangerous place in that way, but not in a way that you could get killed because being there. No one have, I mean, how many bands, black metal bands? Israel is a country that even when it's still, I mean, it's the first black metal festival. When I went to the store that they have in Tel Aviv, it's like the record store. I saw like a lot of flyers. Like there's been plenty of black metal bands playing in Tel Aviv, but one thing is playing in Tel Aviv. That is a really party city, and everyone is like in the mood and stuff for partying, and no one cares about anything. Another thing is to be in Jerusalem when people, even some Jews, don't go to areas where the Orthodox live because they are not accepted, and even Orthodox Jews will attack their Jews. So I was
Wow.
like,
Okay.
it's another thing. It's
Yeah.
completely different, and that's something that people need to understand. It's not the Tel Aviv is party. No one cares. People
Yeah.
actually just will come and ask, like, "Can I get a selfie with you? Cool tattoos, bro," or something like that.
Mm.
No one give a fuck. But Jerusalem is another deal. It's completely different. It's like two different countries.
And
So,
I think the pinnacle point of this whole photo shoot that you did, like you might look at it and say, yeah, it's just one picture, but to me, what it represents is the thing which I have always believed in and still do, which is art over safety.
mhm,
And believing in what you do so much that you are willing to risk your safety for it, so the fact that
mhm.
when you're and this obviously, as I'm sure you're aware, I relate to and I understand this. I know that feeling, like if you can trust that anyone will know exactly the feeling that you will have been experiencing, it is myself.
Yeah,
um
exactly. Yeah, you're for me. You're not only
but
a musician inspired in art. For me, as I when I published the photo, I said, for me, you're an activist for freedom that of something that you have experienced in your life. You're taking a big risk for what you do. Like for example, the demonstrations that you have done in front of the embassy of Iran in different places and stuff. So, so yeah, I know you're totally aware about that, but some people, I read the comments online when it was posted. Many people actually say it right away. You guys have balls because what you have
yes,
done is really dangerous, and
and
but some
rightfully
people,
so.
I mean, but some people think like they feel like entitled to give an opinion without knowing, without being there, without seeing it, without proper educating themselves. And yeah, they're entitled of their opinion, but at the same time, at least if you're gonna open your mouth and say something, you do your homework. Many people don't do that. People just like to comment. People was like, "Ah, that's not that bad. That's not that difficult and stuff like that." I was like, "Yeah, let's be honest. It would been easy. Why we are the first ones doing it in more than 30 years of black metal?
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's probably crossed the mind of someone before, but no
Yeah.
one have done it.
I mean,
We done
many
it.
bands who, yeah, absolutely. And well, this is why we're having this conversation. So we get the opportunity to actually talk about the details as well as the conditions of this piece. And I've known of many bands who have visited Via Dolorosa. I have had many other friends who've been there before. And just having tattoos on show is already problematic. So you already have to
Mm.
cover that with your jacket or whatever else you've got before you go in there. So to get in fucking corpse paint and then do a
Mm.
photo shoot,
With
is
all the
truly
spikes, he have all
fantastic.
the spikes from the stage and everything. I mean, he went out
Yeah.
on the street. He came in up the street covering his face like this, and I don't think that even make it better because when he left his arm, he have all these huge spikes in each side of the arms. So people were just like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck?" But something that it was really important, and it was the main the main idea about this is when we got inside that place to shoot, I knew we have only seconds. What we did is, when everything started, people didn't realize around what was happening in the beginning. They got really confused. Yes, they were surprised, but we used the element of surprise and confusion to shoot. When people start realizing and getting out of the confusion that what's happening there is completely wrong in their belief, we were banished. We could not stay there like, hey, let's hang out. Wait a second. Let's walk a little bit longer and continue shooting. No. We use the element of confusion. It's like a surprise attack. That's what we did. In the moment that they really got like, okay, now I started getting triggered, because at first they were really shocked. I feel like when I see the photos, I could see people were like first shocked, but then in the moment that I start walking out, and people were really already getting triggered. So we could not stay there longer because the tension was building pretty much. So we used that element of confusion, and that was something that it was at our side. No one have done it before. No one expected something like that, and they didn't knew what was happening. So that was a moment that we act, we got it, we get the fuck out of here. Simple as that. So
no, I love it, and one of the best parts of that main one that you have released, obviously I'm sure you took multiple pictures, is the reaction of the older Muslim lady on the left hand side of the photo on her phone, and she's got a pretty old school phone as well, which I thought was funny. Who do you think she was on the phone to? Because I had a few people reply to me jokingly saying, oh, she's calling the police or whatever, she's calling the fucking jihadis or whatever.
Probably she was talking with, nothing related, because I don't think she would have taken the phone to call the police, but I feel that she was just having a conversation and she didn't expect to turn around, and she was really like, what the fuck?
Do you think that she was trying to ring Allah and ask for redemption?
Don't think so. I think she was just like in shock about she was just having a conversation. She didn't expect it, and then she saw, and she was like, because I don't think, as we act really fast, I don't think could have time actually to take out the phone and start calling. But you could see in her face that she was surprised, and not a pleasant surprise. But I mean, now that you mentioned about her, I got like, I've been reading and trying to answer as much as possible to people. I always do in general, but I read some comments that didn't. In general, the feedback is been pretty good of the photo. Many people got it in a way like, you stand up free, and that's what I wrote. I said we stand up free against the chains of any kind of Abrahamic religion. And that's the main part for myself. I'm pretty sure for Bjorn should be the same.
So some people were sort of criticizing an aspect of it. Was it because she was Muslim or something?
Already like race, like taking out like in a way like being racist or something like that.
Racist? How the fuck is that racist? Right, yeah, listen. Okay.
So people like used to complain. I'm like, wait a second. I didn't thought in any moment like, let's wait. I want a Muslim woman there, an Arab woman. Okay, there she's coming. Now I'm gonna shoot. No, I didn't have time for that. I didn't notice anyone who was there. I just saw, as I said, shadows, and that's what I captured. So later I figured out what was it. I have a photo that I haven't published yet. Actually, it's one of my favorites. Because in one side you have a Muslim woman, and the other side you have a Jewish man. So it's actually really interesting, the contrast. So I didn't thought like, I want a woman there or I want a man. It's that picture is not orchestrated. It was completely out of my control. Who crossed the street, and that's what we wanted. We wanted to capture the natural element of what is the street and the discomfort of everyone at the moment.
Listen, I don't think I have to. We have to make the clarification here. I don't even think you really have to explain that, to be honest with you. This idea, in this context, it's even more fucking stupid, but this idea that criticizing Islam is somehow racist is the most fucking bullshit thing in the world. It makes no sense whatsoever. I think that that's more just this fucking mental masturbation, virtue signaling bullshit
Mm.
that people who are just too used to having freedom and no longer actually valuing it anymore come up with just to make
Mm.
themselves look superior. It's like, hey, look, I'm such a good person. I'm standing up for this. When all they're
Mm.
doing is just basically making a mockery of themselves, you know. I
Mm.
think that so first of all, there is that, you know, the idea of mixing religion and race, which only ever
Mm.
gets applied to Islam, funnily enough,
Mm.
is an idea that is completely bullshit, you know. And then
So agree, agree.
this is coming from a guy
Because
who grew up in the Middle East. Okay,
yes, agree.
so when I'm talking to you, when I say I understand what you're talking about,
Mm.
at age 15, I was burning Qurans in national parks in Iran and
Mm.
filming it. Now, obviously, I wasn't as brave as you to go and publish that on the internet, but I also could have been killed for that. And I still might
Absolutely.
get killed for it even talking about it now. And you know
Mm.
what? Fuck them. I believe what I believe in, and that's fine. You know, I'm entitled to that. And I'm past the point of giving a shit, just like you and Bjorn were when you were creating that art piece, you know. But a lot of people seem to kind of miss the point, you know, like even when you have the phrase Islamophobic, like, or Islamophobia, that's a made up thing. That's not
Mm.
real. Phobia is when you have an irrational fear of something or
Mm.
hatred of something. As far as I am concerned, now you can be a Muslim person, fine, whatever. But to criticize Islam, there's nothing irrational or unrealistic about it because it is a faith that inherently stands against very basic human rights. It is a faith that is extremely misogynistic. It is a race that advocates for killing and murder like nothing else does in this world. There is not a single
It's what
other
the
ideology.
Inquisition did in medieval time. It's
There
what I
is,
mean.
yeah, there is not a single other ideology in this world which advocates the killing of those who oppose it as much as Islam does. So these are things that people really have to take into consideration, and I think that I really think that people who keep trying to defend it, especially the left wing people, need to really understand what it is that they're even trying to defend.
That's what I
Because
always said. People have to do their homework before they feel entitled about an opinion, and I
that's right.
feel the same thing when it comes like I mean I grew up in a Catholic country, and I mean I know I mean in Catholic countries these days it's not like Islam countries or anything like it. It's way more soft for sure, but I grew always about under the pressure about you're not allowed to do this. I remember when I was working as a pilot, just for I mean uh, one day it was like I never talk about that I listen metal music in the airline. Actually, there were only a few people that knew about it, but over there people are really judgmental, Catholics actually, and it happened to me once. It was like some people boarded the airplane and they were metalheads with a lot of tattoos and stuff, with metal band T-shirts, and I was just looking at them. I was like, they didn't say anything, but then the captain mentioned like, look at those piece of shit. They probably are like criminals and stuff like that. If someone like that will work with me, I will report this person and try to make it fire to get a fire. And I was like, Yosif, you know who I am. I mean, so it's kind of interesting. I mean, so I grew with this kind of like, I don't want to say fear because I didn't fear it, but I grew like with this kind of like oppressed approach about in my life. Like I was not allowed to be myself. Even I always did it anyway. I mean, when I was in my private life, I mean I was pretty open about who I am. I really didn't care. But yeah, I mean it's really judgmental. It's like for people in general. Like, I mean, not only if you're an atheist, you're the worst shit that exists in this world. And it was like, I have more better moral than what you do. That you need a book to tell you about do this is bad. I do it because it's my core. I have moral. I have basic. what's called like knowledge. I mean, to how can I say it? To understand like what is wrong and what is bad. I don't need something to come and tell me what is wrong and what is bad. Like, if your book doesn't say steal is bad, then you will steal. No, I mean, I don't need that. So for me, my moral is my moral. I don't really need uh something a book to tell me anything, or a priest to tell me anything. I
You
mean,
know, I think I have to
you
say that I personally, and I do have to make the clarification here. I have nothing against someone following a certain faith or not,
same.
as long as it's, if it serves them being a better person, if it makes more sense to them to follow that path,
The
that's
problem is the double
okay.
moral. The double moral. Like I feel superior because I believe in this and not you. So that's the part. I mean, in my cultural work,
Well, this
I'm
is,
not Hindu
yeah,
or I'm not Buddhist, and I travel to those countries and I try to learn because I like the approach of different, like how religion and culture go together. I've been to mosques, I've been to synagogues. I mean, I've seen how it is. I have been to thousand churches, cathedrals, and stuff. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem that you believe in what you want to believe. My problem is that you feel entitled to put your belief over me and diminish me just because you believe in something that you feel is right. That's my problem, and that's when I feel that I step
exactly.
up, like and say like, you know something, I'm free. Fuck off. And that's what I try. The message that I try to put her up with this photo from my side, my perspective at least.
I
So when
completely
people come
appreciate
up
that,
like
and
racist here,
this is exactly where I'm coming from as well. That for a lot of people, yeah, they might want to believe in a certain thing. Maybe they grew up with it. Maybe they converted to it later on in life. But the problem is that, particularly the Abrahamic religions, and again, I want to play the devil's advocate, or shall I say, God's advocate. There is positivity in all of those as well. Just as you're saying, there are certain practices. I've always said that. Listen, if you want to quit drinking because that's your personal choice to do that, great for you. If you want to stop looking at other women in an inappropriate way because you believe that's the right thing to do, good for you. If you want to, I don't know, all the different practices which are fairly common amongst those religions, if you want to follow that because it adds discipline to your life, because let's face it, there is an element of discipline to a lot of
mm,
these religions. I respect that part. The part I don't
mm,
fucking respect is when you have to shove that down other people's fucking throats and claim a sense of superiority, that, oh, we
exactly,
are God's
exactly.
chosen people, and
Mm,
everyone will find their own excuse of believing that they are God's chosen people. The Muslims feel that way. They think that,
mm,
especially the Shias, they think Mahdi, Muhammad's 12th descendant, is gonna rise back from the dead one day and he's gonna appear and it's gonna be Armageddon. The Christians believe the same thing about Jesus and they think that, oh yeah, they've got the access to God.
mm,
The Jewish people, well, we know what they believe in, and we've heard all of the type of
mm,
excerpts, which is exactly basically the same point as the other ones,
mm,
and then you can then apply the same thing to race as well. There's this weird thing that we're always trying to find something to say that, oh yeah, we're the right group and everyone else is wrong. And I think that if you have enough conviction in where you truly stand, if you have enough conviction and belief in what your identity is, in what you believe in, you don't need the rest of the world to believe in the same thing.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I think that that's where all of these things go wrong. I mean, even with the Abrahamic religions, how much stuff do
Mm,
they have in common? Like 80-90% of them are there's stuff that they have in common. But then over
exactly,
that 10-20%, they're willing to fucking kill each other and go to war. It makes no fucking
exactly,
sense.
exactly. And it's quite of sad that honestly, I mean, in a way, like I got a lot of critics because as I was part of the festival, saying like after with the situation escalated with the war that started, saying like negative comments about people in Israel, like and bands like, you're playing in front of this Zionist, fascist group of people and stuff like that. I was like, wait a second, I'll be honest. In a festival, I didn't see a single politician. I didn't see a single Orthodox person. I saw a group of people, a group of metal fans that went to a concert stand up free against any sort of religion. That people have my respect. I didn't see anything of that. I told people, like, if you have an agenda and stuff like that, you're in the wrong place. Fuck off. Simple as that. But it's like, it's really stupid that many people see it in that way. It's like, I always, as my work as a photographer in a cultural approach, I always like to hear the perspective of locals because sometimes what you could see probably like in news and stuff like that, and I don't believe 100% what I see in news. So I always want to
Mhm.
experience for myself and hear it for myself. And I talk with people in general. I mean, I always kind of cautious because those are subjects that are quite of like really, really delicate to talk about it, and I don't want in any moment. I'm not there to judge anyone. I'm just there to hear their opinion. So I just
Mhm.
ask questions around and stuff. No one there was uh, like in a way like we want war. Everyone is tired of that crap. Everyone wants just to be peaceful, do their stuff, and that's it. Live their life. So make me quite of annoyed. Like I mean, that people actually come up and start talking about these metal fans that are like I mean that they are like fascist or anything like it or racist. I was like, come on, these people over there, they were just wanted to enjoy a good concert like Americans do, like Germans do, like British people do. No one, not a single comment about religion there, not a single comment about, I mean, about religion in a way like criticizing, like in the concert, like, oh, Muslims or anything like that. Not in a single moment a comment about race. Everyone was there just for the concert, enjoying the bands, headbanging,
Mm.
putting their fist up. It was amazing. I mean, for me to see bands like Darvaza, Dead Worship, and all these kind of bands there in Israel, it was like a dream. I have the opportunity actually to have an exhibition at the same time here in Sweden, and I choose to be in Israel and to document something that it will be, I feel, history because it's the first black metal festival over there, and I feel that in the future everyone in the world should have the opportunity to have a fucking black metal festival like Swedish people do, like Norwegians do, because hey, what the fuck? Why it should be only Europe or America or South America? No, everyone should have the opportunity because there are fans everywhere. I grew up in a Catholic country that even not long ago, black metal bands got canceled. That they, for the first time, tried to do concerts there, and they got canceled right away because religion. And when I was younger, my dream was at least to be able to see one band that I like. Only one was my dream. Now I'm happy to say that I work with almost everyone that I have ever dreamed, even to see at least one concert. So for me, it's like I wanted to be in a place that is actually standing up. And even with all the judgmental parts and everything, they were there and they supported a festival in a country like that. It was an amazing experience. I love it.
That's
And I
amazing,
hope
man.
that it will
Yeah.
be everywhere in the world because everyone should have the opportunity. I don't care if we are talking about North Korea or whatever country, everyone should have the opportunity to experience that because we, as difference like with other genres of music like pop music or something like that, we have more connection in between us. We go around, I never seen, like, for example, two people with Britney Spears t-shirt be like, oh, you like Britney as well. No, but I see like people going around like see that other one like with an Iron Maiden t-shirt, so I get like, hey, horns up or something like that. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
community. You don't have to like everyone, but you get the feeling right away like, hey, you see the nice t-shirt and stuff like that. Oh, I have that t-shirt as well. You feel that kind of community in a way. So for me, that was the main part of it, and to be part of the, in a way, like I have an exhibition there. People told me, I love what you do. I love your art. I love how you capture my favorite bands. Can you tell me a little bit about this photo session? How was it? I was like, yeah, absolutely. It was amazing. It was a beautiful experience to share in a country that is actually standing up and building a scene and be
Yeah.
part of it. I mean, and everyone should have the opportunity
Well,
of that.
listen,
Why
man,
you have to be
even
entitled
if
to our
you
countries?
even if you don't have the opportunity to do such a thing freely, then you do it illegally, just like we did in
Mm,
Trivex back in Iran. There were none
exactly.
of the. We only did a handful of shows there, but every single one of those shows had the potential of basically getting us arrested, maybe even killed. Especially the first one that we did, which was at the Kamal Ol Mulk High School, and I remember playing the show as a 16-year-old thinking, yeah,
Mm,
I could probably die because of this, but fuck it, let's do it anyway, and I think that's
exactly.
what forges the spirit of metal, that's what forges the spirit of rebellion, which is the thing that's available within all of it, and I carried out the same attitude even throughout the COVID
Mm,
lockdowns as well, thinking
mm,
I'm not gonna fucking let a government tell me, not to play a show.
mm,
Obviously, we didn't really end up playing one, but had that carried on longer, and had we not had shows booked, I would have still organized shows and played them anyway. If they're gonna come
mm,
fucking find us, arrest us, fuck it, they can suck my ass. Like, I don't give a shit about anything,
mm,
that's going to stand in the way of us trying to express ourselves and actually getting our art out there, and standing up for what we believe in, and that's
mm.
how, because if you don't do that, freedom is not something that just lands on your fucking doorstep. It's something that you have to earn. It's something that you have to
You
fight
have to
for,
fight for it,
and then
exactly.
you constantly have to fight for keeping it, and you can
Mm,
see how a lot of people, particularly in the West, who are just far too accustomed to having it, they're almost throwing it away because they're forgetting what it actually means to not have it, and I hope that
mm,
they'll never find out, but that's currently the direction of things. But just to kind of bring things back a moment anyway, so obviously we did cover the photo shoot that you guys did, which is fantastic, and again, respect to both yourself and Bjorn. But what I particularly find utterly fascinating is the timing
mm,
of such a thing happening. I mean, if anything is going to, now to kind of play on the other side, if anything is going to make you believe in the spiritual and divine side of things, is the fact that the moment that the Holy Land gets infiltrated is when basically things go wrong. And I asked
mm.
Bjorn the same question, and I'm gonna ask you it as well. But how did you feel, first of all, without going into the details of the attacks, because you actually happened to be left behind in the country as the
Mm,
attacks happened?
mm.
Thankfully, you weren't harmed, and you're sat here talking to us, which I'm very grateful for. But how does it feel to have been a part of such a thing? I mean, you call the photography piece the Omen, and I don't think there could have been a more
Well,
perfect title
I
for
actually
it.
I didn't name it. It was Bjorn.
Right.
And I felt it was a really good name. So I'm really happy that he put up the name for it.
How
But
does it feel to even be a part of such a thing? I mean, you do this symbolic moment, and then merely a
mm,
few hours later, that same country, with all of its tensions and history and everything, just the history attached to that land alone,
mm.
you get these horrific attacks that start coming in. I mean, just take me through your thought process there. How do you perceive those events?
I mean, I knew pretty well that over there between the border of Israel and Gaza, there is always problems. There's something that I knew that it could be in any moment something, but I knew also that for many years that haven't reached the part of Israel, of Tel Aviv. So I was like, well, it's the same thing many people tell me. Why you're traveling to a country like that when there's so much problems there? I always say, I live in Panama. And in the border between Panama and Colombia, there's always problems because guerrillas, narcos, and all these kind of things. So I will not judge Panama City because what's something that happens in the border, far from the city. So I was like, well, fine. There's always the risk anyway. So, I mean, I will say I'm glad in a way that I got to capture something that have made history and it have created such an impact in the community in the world. This photo has been like spam everywhere. It's been like wildfire, has spread up like in the moment that we posted, it was like exploded right away in social media in general. I feel glad about creating something like that. As a photographer, when you're working on something, I mean, you want there's how can I say it? I mean, there's some thousands and thousands of photographers that are really, really, really good, but you have to be in the perfect place at the perfect moment. So to create a photo that is bigger than yourself, that it will create an impact for history. I feel that I got to that peak over there. I did it. No, I mean, I don't want to say only me. It was a collaboration. I give the credits to Bjorn 100% the same as I feel because I couldn't have done it alone. He could not have done it alone either. This was like both of us. So he have 100% my respect. Like I'm pretty sure he have it towards me as well for what we did. But again, I wish I feel like I create something bigger than myself. And in that way, I feel glad and honored to be able to have done this. But at the same time, I feel really bad because there's a lot of people suffering for a really stupid reason, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of the people paying the price for this. I'm not saying in Israel, I'm saying it also in Gaza, Palestine. Is the It's people
Yes.
that they don't deserve to be involved in a stupid war from some that feels entitled to take decisions over everyone. I'm not putting up in any of the both ways, saying like this or them. I'm not pointing at anyone. I'm just saying the kids that are suffering to grow in a war like that is not fair. Free people, people that should be free, people that should be struggling is like, what the hell am I gonna have for breakfast tomorrow, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, or I don't want to do my homework, or I miss this concert. Those are the problems that they should be having, and for me, it hurts because, in a way, like there's plenty of good friends that they are stuck right now over there in Israel, for example. I'm talk for the side of Israel because that's the people that I know. But if I will know someone in Palestine, I will say the same thing about them. They should not be getting on this. So I don't feel happy in a way like what is happening. I'm not feel bloodthirsty either. Like I want this sensationalist or morbid impulse for war because as I talked with you before in the first podcast that we did, it's like people that usually praise these kind of things are people or you are messed up
Mm.
during war and you are really psychological fucked up, or you're someone that have never experienced it and you're like talking about war but you never been in a situation like that. So
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me
I
it's like
think the latter is probably the most common, at least from what I've
mm.
seen in my own experience. That a lot of
So when
people
I see
who've,
people like praising
yeah,
that, like finally, so finally what? You know something? You want to take actions, you want to feel like finally or whatever, go there and do something. But don't come and really easy to be at home and somewhere else in any side of the world, watching TV and say like, yes, this should have happened long ago, or these people are pointing and stuff without you being there. That's the part that make me angry, and as well about like as I said, like good people that I know that are suffering the consequences, people that are stuck over there. I managed to get out, but when I was born in that airplane to get out of there, I felt such a bittersweet feeling
mm,
because I was like, yes, I'm getting out back to my country, but there's so many people here suffering, and there's some people when how can I say it? I mean, it's difficult, but when that airplane arrived and I saw people going out, they were families with kids getting out of that airplane, arriving to Tel Aviv, and I was like, "What the fuck? You couldn't." Most of the time, when people arrive to a country, people get are with a smile in the face, like, "Oh, I'm going for tourism. I'm gonna see my
mm.
family or something like that." These people, you feel the tension. They were not getting off the airplane happy because they probably didn't
Yeah.
even knew if their house was still there.
So let's go through it. I mean, when did you first even find out about what was happening, and or did you actually witness something going off? Because I remember you saying that there were sirens and things going on,
Yeah,
right? So let
Saturday
take us
morning.
through it. So you've
Mhm.
just done the photo shoot. few hours have gone by, and you're obviously,
Yeah.
still probably on the buzz of having done the photo shoot. So what happens next?
I mean, photo shoot was Friday, maybe 5, 6 o'clock, maybe something like that. Don't remember the time, but I mean, then we came back from Jerusalem to to Tel Aviv. Everything was nice. I mean, we felt everyone was tired already. It was a long day. It was warm. Everything. I mean, but then everyone came back to Tel Aviv. Everything on schedule, normal. We were just planning actually to talk with the guys from Dead Worship maybe to rent a car and go into the Dead Sea. We were just planning what to do on Saturday. Later, normal, went to bed. Then Saturday morning at 7:30 to be precisely, I start hearing the rates, the alarm rates like going on, and I was like, at first I was still in process of waking up, and I hear those alarms before because here in Sweden they test the alarms like once a month or every a Monday at 3 o'clock. So I hear it before, so I know what it is. So I was like, my first thought was like, which idiot test the alarm Saturday at 7 in the morning? And
Right.
then so I was like, fuck off, really? You have to do it now. And then I was still in bed, and then I hear a really loud explosion, bang, and I was still not realizing what was happening. Then I hear a second explosion. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, Tel Aviv is a city that is really much alive. To be honest, I have never seen a city that party that much like Tel Aviv. And my first thought was like, some idiot in the street doing something stupid. That was my first idea. Then, then no. Then I thought like, you know something? I'm gonna take my phone and take a look at it. I take my phone when I was like, war just started. Okay, Tel Aviv is being
Oof.
attacked with rockets from Gaza,
Oh.
and terrorists have infiltrated the borders and stuff. And I was like, okay, now the shit hit the fan. Actually, it's not. This was the explosions that I hear. They were rockets. We went to the reception. We talk a little. What should we do? They told us like, okay, well, they were. I mean, no one really knew how big was what was happening. I mean, even like that, they said like these things happen every now and then. The reception they were trying to like to reduce what it is so people don't freak out. And they said like, but
Sure.
anyway, we have a shelter over here, so I go. There's signs everywhere around the hotel, so you can get to the shelter if you hear the alarms again. Uh, I was staying in a boutique hotel, so they didn't have breakfast in there, so they have like outside and like, I mean, they had like a voucher for different restaurants, so you can choose where to eat. Then went out to the streets. The streets were completely empty. There were only a few restaurants open. Got to the one restaurant, sit down, and then you could hear like every now and then an explosion. And it was still like, okay, this is quite of weird. You can still feel the tension around. And I was just eating. I mean, explosions coming up around. And it was like at the end, you get to the point like this kind of sensation, like it was a rocket or it's just a car or it's just a noise. You get I mean you're not used to it in a way, so they
Sure.
just told us like if something, they just give us a code in the restaurant that I was eating, like if something happened you open this door and you get to the shelter. Just took I mean everything was fine, went back to the hotel. Then I was in touch with the other guys of the bands. They were staying at a different hotel. We're like sharing information, what to do, how it was going on. I had planned then later. I mean, we talked a little bit with Jonathan to do a photo session for Nubivagant in the old city of Jaffa in Tel Aviv. So Jonathan was like, he was, I mean, at some first he didn't really realize either the how big this was going to evolve. And then we got back. I got back to the hotel. We were just like looking what to do, planning and stuff. I told Jonathan like, let's hold on because let's see how the situation evolves. Then alarm started again. Two rockets over the over the hotel. You could just see them passing by. So
Oh.
just run to the shelter. it was then you start feeling like shit, things are getting pretty bad.
How did you
Stay in
feel
the
just
shelter.
at that moment? At that moment when you see the rocket flying, how did you feel at that moment?
To be honest, you get in a primordial instinct, just like safety first. It's like for me, as we talked before in the other podcast. I mean, I don't have any kind of military training, police training, or anything like that. But it's not the first time for me that I've been in a situation like that. Because
Of
when I
course.
was a pilot, I did flights to evacuate people from conflict areas. I've been in a place where actually I was going to land the airplane and the airport got under attack. I've been in situations that I've seen someone get shot in front of me. I've been in many, many situations like that before. So for me, it's like I know more or less how to breathe, keep control, and focus. Those are the things you have to you have to be aware in the moment. So it's not about
Absolutely.
like
You cannot panic at all.
no, you panic and it's worse. So it's like for
Yeah.
me, it was I mean I could handle situations in a way better approach that probably some other people that have never been in something like that. But we went to the shelter. I mean, I was just like, what the fuck have to happen now? Really? I mean, it's not that I ever wanted to happen, but still, it's like what a timing. Things got calmed down after a while. We went back to the roof of the hotel. We were standing there, just seeing what the hell happened. Jonathan was still asking, like, "Hey, let's go shoot photos." I was
Of
like,
course he
"Calm
was.
down."
That
I
sounds like
mean,
him, yes.
it was the last day for us actually to be there because we were planning to leave Sunday, all the bands. So we were like really, of course, we were there. The whole city is a really good area that fits perfectly the approach of what is Lviv again with the atmosphere and everything. So I mean, of course, but then after a while, everything got calm. You only saw like I could see like militaries going on everywhere and stuff. You're just seeing how the situation evolved. So then after a while, we were like, you know something? It's been a couple hours, nothing have happened. Maybe that's it. It's not gonna escalate anymore. We went out, took a walk around. We catch up. There was Jonata and the other guys from Darvaza. Took the uh, took a walk towards the old city, where is Jaffa, a little bit southern of what is the city center from Tel Aviv. We were just going around shooting photos. It was a really weird situation in a way, like you're shooting photos, but at the same time you see the tension around. There's like militaries going around with machine guns everywhere. We saw Black Hawks flying all the time over us, going everywhere, and we are shooting photos with a guy like with a hood and and stuff. So it was a really kind of like I mean, we're shooting black metal photos in a moment when actually the war started. So it was actually that's another session that I did. So it was like really, really hectic situation, really different than what we did the day before. Another kind of danger than what Bjorn and I went the day before. Now we were in danger that a rocket could fall over us or we get arrested because what the fuck are they doing these guys right now here? I mean, we got information that the terrorists were actually getting inside the country. Like over 1,000 terrorists have crossed the borders and attacking different cities. Tel Aviv is only 50 minutes drive from the border from Gaza, so it's not really far. So it's like, I mean, in 50, just that happened in the morning. At this point, anyone could have been in the area as well. Fortunately, nothing happened, but we were just walking around. We shoot the photos, and then, I mean, as I said, there were Black Hawks flying all the time. Yeah, so we were shooting in the middle of
I guess
war,
it would have
literally
been pretty good if you had Marduk there
shooting
with you.
photos to be more. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but no, it was but it was but well, yes, in a way,
That's
but no,
right.
or
Yeah,
revenge
there's a
or
few of those. So tell me, just
yeah.
I mean, what did
There's when it come in that's when it come in the most intense part actually,
right?
because then when we were walking around we were just pretty okay and everything, and then someone approached to us. I was like, there's a lockdown from 5 o'clock, and it was 4:30. It was like, it's better you get back to your place. I was like, okay, fuck, it's better we get the shit out of here. Then we started walking. We went back to the hotel. Uh, just taking it easy, grabbing something to eat, watching the news. 7 o'clock, first alarms again, rockets, explosions in the background. I have to say, what saved our life was the Iron Dome. That was really effective,
Wow.
intercepting plenty of rockets. But but it was tensions from 7 in the night until 12. we were we probably run to the shelter maybe 5 or 6 times. Lost count of how many times we have to run.
I saw some of
Actually,
the videos that you were actually having to run into the shelters like quite late at night and stuff, right?
yeah, really late, and actually, they told us in the hotel, in the moment that you hear the alarms, you have 20 seconds to get to the shelter. That's the
Mm.
safety range of time that you have, and it's fun because you have 20 seconds to get out of your room that is in the first floor, get to the stairs, get down the lobby, cross a yard, get in another door, and go 2 floor down. 20 seconds is nothing.
Yeah.
So so it's a lot of so time goes fast and
I
stuff.
guess
So
when you put it that way, yeah, yeah, sure.
yeah, I mean, one thing is to tell 5 minutes and even like that, it probably you will not you will take longer than that. So 20 seconds is nothing. But the situation was pretty bad. I mean, in one moment at the room we were packing, and then, as I said, the Iron Dome is pretty good, helps a lot. But I mean, the Iron Dome, in the way that it works, is like you have these like stations that you can move to different places, and they intercept the rockets. Kind of like when they feel when they censor something, they, if I remember correctly, via how's it called, they detect it, and they just go, they drop the rockets towards, to shut them down, to explode them in the air. I mean, they drop rockets, explode near the other rockets that are coming, and then you're safe. But that, as I said, those are stations that you move to one place to other. What
Hmm.
happened, apparently, they found a window between those stations, and one rocket actually crashed in the street next to my hotel, and there
Shit.
was no alarms. We was just a really loud explosion. We just hear like bang, and everything vibrated really hard. And I was like, fuck, we have to run. We just got out of there running right away. And every 2 seconds, you could hear in the background bang, 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 bang.
Oh
Those were
man.
rockets exploding in the area. No alarm, nothing.
And they were
So it
sending
was
these
a,
rockets directly to Tel Aviv.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, one guy that he was an ex-military in Germany brought me, and he tell those kind of rockets that they have, they are not, they don't target a specific place. They are not go by satellite or GPS targeting or anything like it. They just shoot at random. They just shoot at random, and whatever the place they crash, they crash. In a way, it's good because over there it's really windy. So many of those rockets probably fall on the water. But at the same time, you are not targeting military stations. You're just shooting at random, and whatever they crash, it crash. Doesn't matter who it kills. So
That's
in a
interesting.
way,
I wonder what
it,
that tells you about their approach. Like, why did they do this? You know, because it seems like they were just trying to cause as much, inflict as much pain as
damage, exactly.
possible.
It's
And
just it's
it's
just
like,
want to cross
why? What
because
for? You
I
know,
mean
was it
you
just
want
for
to
the free
create chaos.
PR? What were they trying to do? I'm
I
always
mean,
very curious about that.
I mean, I cannot really talk from the terrorist perspective, but for
No.
me, what it looks is from it's how can I say it? It's it's the element of creating chaos. Because
Hmm.
if you create chaos in another place, it's like, for example, when you see about medieval time, when they shoot, like, for example, arrows with fire to a town,
Hmm.
it was just turn fire, create chaos, and in that moment of chaos, you infiltrate and you kill easier, or you take hostage or whatever you want. That's what they wanted to build. I feel that they just wanted to create chaos in the city everywhere, so people will just go mental in the streets or whatever thing, and everything is easier if you know what you're doing around that chaos. it's pretty easy for you. So I feel that was their technique.
So can I just
For,
ask, what was so when you're there and you're experiencing all of these, which is I can imagine must be pretty fucking horrifying experience, but I guess it's one of them where adrenaline is so high up, you're just like looking out for things and you're more alert. Rather than just being scared. I guess it's one of them, where it sort of settles a bit more afterwards, perhaps, maybe. And I say this based on what you told me before about the plane that you basically had to fly back after 10 minutes with the engine blowing out, which must have been a pretty scary experience. So at this point, were you aware of what they had done to some of those people who were attending that music festival? Or were you just under the impression that, okay, a war is happening? Or did you actually know specifically what they had done
I
to some of those
realized
people?
about the festival. I knew about the only thing that I knew at the moment, because I have the news. I have CNN on, and there were interviews with militaries, politicians in Israel, also politicians from the side of Palestine. I didn't know about the music festival that it was going down south. I knew that terrorists were infiltrating the country, even in like parachutes, just to get inside and create damage somehow. I didn't know that they were hostages yet. I got the news the morning after on Sunday that things were what happened with the festival. Um, because I mean, it took time for the news to come up. But what I knew it was that they were shooting in different parts of Israel. Different towns were under attack. What
Mm.
we actually did is the promoter of the festival, he created a group for like the main person in each band being in the group, like to share information, like what is happening, how is our status, where is safe, where is not, how don't get to this place or something, or if anyone hears something or whatever, like just to share it. So we were sharing information constantly. We were looking there to see what happening because flights started getting canceled for the day after. And the
I
guys on
remember
Darvaza,
speaking to you, and you weren't sure for a while if you were actually going to be able to make it back.
I was not sure until I got into the plane, honestly.
Right.
Nothing was certain. Uh,
When you were on the plane, did you have worries about the plane being shot down?
yeah, I hear actually, apparently, one of the guys told me that he have a friend that his girlfriend is a flight attendant and she was in one of the flights and they could see a rocket flying next to their airplane. So, I mean, to be honest, until we get out of the airspace from Israel, everything could have happened. So,
Mm.
so everything was uncertain. I mean,
Yeah.
in a situation like that, you never knew. Many some people said like, the airport probably is the safest place where to be. No, it's not. Nowhere was safe. Nowhere. I mean, I saw videos from CNN when when the rocket started, that they were alarms and people boarding the airplanes just on the ground on the floor, on the floor just waiting because I mean they were open in the platform with the airplane in front, just waiting to board, but they were attacking at that moment. We were rockets flying, so people couldn't even board the airplane. So you never really knew
Mm.
what will happen. You have to be just prepared to absolutely everything. So so to be honest, I cannot say that I was aware. I was thinking like, yeah, okay, my flight will still go. We were just like logging in all the time in the airport web page, seeing that every 5 minutes a new flight was canceled. That could be my flight. I was lucky that my flight to Stockholm actually happened, but Norwegian have a flight also to, I think it was Oslo or Copenhagen. Don't remember, that got canceled. So I was like, maybe my flight get canceled at any moment. I saw in the news later British Airways was in the way, and when they were about to land, they turned around and got back to England. So I
Damn.
mean, even when I was tracking that actually my airplane took off already from Stockholm in the way to Tel Aviv, that doesn't mean that my airplane was going to arrive. Because if the airport get under attack, by my experience, because I did that before, when my airport was under attack, I abort landing and went to another airport to wait for an hour.
Right.
So
Right.
no, so nothing is certain. Even if the airplane lands, I don't know if I'm
Mm.
getting out. So my idea was I just get to the airport, and if my flight is canceled, I just get a flight to whatever part of Europe, and then I figured out how to get back home. Call the embassy,
Mhm.
no one answering the embassy. So I have to put myself in a list of the Swedish embassy about citizens of Sweden in Israel. And a fun fact, I got an SMS on Wednesday telling me like if you feel that you're in the need of being evacuated, you have to get in your own ways to the airport, and then they will help you. So it was like beautiful.
What,
The war
this
stopped
Wednesday
Saturday. I
just
got an
gone?
Sorry.
Wednesday, like the week later, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. The war started
Right.
Saturday. I got an SMS on Wednesday telling me like you have to find your way.
That's
So
hilarious. Wow. Wow.
so
I
I
guess
mean,
it must have been a high volume of things. I mean, listen, man. Look, I'm very glad that you made it. I'm glad that you made it out alive, and then you were able to get away from it. Unfortunately, many of our friends are still back there, and it's a terrible situation
mm,
that is happening, and I fear that this might be the start of something bigger, especially with Iran being involved. And if you look at the things that are going on there historically and the role that each one of those Arab countries play, and obviously the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Israel, and why Iran in particular did not want that unification to happen, because they were actually
mm,
talking about basically becoming allies, and it's a very complicated shit show. And as
exactly,
always, in the case of all politics, it is the people that have to pay the price for it.
exactly.
Whilst some
Innocent
motherfucker,
people from every
yeah,
side. I mean, I hate when people actually saying like it's just like people in Israel or it's people in Palestine or anything. No, it's people from both sides that are paying the price. I
mm.
mean, for me, a
It's
5 years
humanity
old
that's
kid,
paying the price.
exactly,
Um,
and unfortunately, I mean, as I said, those that suffer the most are people that have absolutely no bloodthirst or anything. They just want to live their life and enjoy like we all do in our countries. And so I hate when people just point out like one side and demonstrate like against the other country. And to be honest, it's like I mean it's just ridiculous. So as I said, the shit show in general. But I mean, yeah, it was a really tough situation.
I
We
think
managed.
that I think that it's the most important thing for us all is to always remember that even in the events of conflicts like this, or even in events where the world is going strange, whether it's like the COVID thing, or whether whether it's war, or whatever, if they try and come up with something that, oh yeah, the world's ending again, like whatever things like that are happening, it's very important to us to always remember not to dehumanize one another, and to remember that
Mm.
that the other side, wherever you might find yourself, you might find yourself a little bit in the middle, like you and I have. Obviously, we both condone the terrible acts that have happened, but also what has been happening since as well is quite tragic also. But I think that wherever you find yourself, it's really important to just remember not to dehumanize other human beings. In the
Certainly,
same
don't
way
think about
that,
race. Don't think about
yeah,
what is the religion of anyone else. I mean, they were news around like because apparently from the side of the terrorists they were doing a call for all the Muslims living in Israel to go out in the streets with whatever thing they could have, an axe or a knife or whatever, and kill anyone around. So, so I mean, feels really wrong because it's like that's completely what the fuck, really? Which kind of attitude is
not
that?
just Israel, the old head
Uh,
of their organization was saying not just people in Israel, but for Muslims all across the world,
the
particularly
world, exactly,
in the
exactly,
West in
exactly.
particular, to go out on the streets. I think it was on the
Mm.
Friday the 13th,
Yeah,
and then commit all these
in
acts.
Egypt, two Israeli household, two Israeli tourists got shot in Egypt. But
Yeah.
what I mean is like even when the situation was like that, I remember in the hotel, in my hotel, it was a lady there taking care of the reception, and and I say this not to put up myself as an example in a way like, people should be like me, because no. But what I mean is like people have to remember that it's not only you, it's more people around. You have to put yourself in the shoes of someone else. And it was this lady that she was taking care of. She was at the reception. She was the one guiding us all the time to the shelter. And she had her kid that he was probably no more than 6 years old with her. And when all these things happened, I saw plenty of guys that they just run to the shelter and went right away. I mean, they were, as I said, it was 2 floors down, and she was always waiting at the door for everyone to come in with her kid. Many times I felt terrible when I got in. The first time I didn't notice, but I just went in. But then I figured out, like, damn, this woman is there alone with her kid. She has to be afraid as well. She's not a military. She's not. She's just a regular receptionist. And plenty of times when this happened, I just stay at the door with her, waiting to help in any situation, take her kid, because she was not taller than 160 probably, a really skinny and short woman, and move fast with your kid that is already getting big and stuff. I just stay with her, trying like, hey, I'm coming. In one moment, I got the kid from my hand, and he was like, come with me. So it was like the kid was not aware of what was happening there. And what I mean is like, I feel pretty bad to see all these guys just running for their life and forgetting that this woman is risking her life for all of us with her kid. So it was like, people sometimes, I mean, in a way, when you get into these kind of situations, you see a lot of people that get just selfish thinking for themselves, but at the same time, you see a lot of humanitarian part as well. So I try to stand up for what is my moral, what is the right thing to do, and actually help in the way that I could help. So I would have feel like shit, honestly, if I would have just running for my life and leaving a woman behind with a little kid. That's not me. I cannot do that, honestly. So it's
I do
like
appreciate that.
I don't care. I don't care in any moment what was her religion, what was her race. I don't care about anything of that. For me, she was just a woman there with her kid that was standing brave at the door when rockets were blowing parts of the street. And I was like, I cannot leave someone like that behind, even if it's my life in risk. Simple as that. So, I mean, many people could see it as a contradiction, like, the day before you were doing something really like black metal, and now you're thinking about this, about someone else. It's like that have nothing to be one thing with the other. For me, it's really important. I mean, I have my values, I have the way that I am as a person, my belief about freedom, or the way that I react towards certain things. That doesn't mean that I will step down. I will step over everyone and push someone down because their race or religion. I don't care about anything of that. Sexual orientation, that for me is not discussion at all. I mean, everyone should always feel free to be whatever they want to be. But the only thing that I condemn is in a world full in a world that you're free to be whatever you can be, don't be an asshole. Don't be a dickhead. Don't be an idiot. That's really stupid, to be honest. You have everything, you have the power of decision to be someone, and you decide to be an idiot, then you are a low caste or something like that. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that. So for me, it's really important always, like when it comes to these kind of situations, I experienced it when I was in charge in the world. I mean, when I was helping to evacuate people, when this woman came and told me, the flight is full. I'm not asking you to take me. I'm asking you to take my kids with you. I mean, I I, I experienced that before. I always try to help. I never really thought that from being in a moment in my life that I was evacuating people, that was the one that needed to be evacuated later. It's like
I guess
you
there's a
never really
sense
know
of
who's gonna
pride
be your.
attached to it, isn't it? And then the safety and I guess the
Yeah, you feel
responsibility
vulnerable
that
in a way. Like it's not over.
yeah.
You have no control before. I mean, yeah, in situations like this, even when you're in a part in the side, like evacuating people and stuff like that, you feel that you're more under control because you can take certain decisions. You have more, in certain way, but here, I felt the place that I helped people before, how they felt. I was like, fuck, I don't even know if I'm getting out of here. What am I going to do? I need to plan something. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean the human part when it comes to this kind of things, uh, it's really important that people should open their eyes and stop thinking only about themselves, but think about the surroundings. You're not the only one in this world. You're not the only one that suffers. You're not the only one that have pain. People in general have it. So I wish more people will understand that. And the only way, honestly, that they could understand is that they go through situations in life where they see that they could help and they see the pain on others. That it's not only you. So
I
this kind
think,
of experience that change
yeah,
your life forever.
yeah, that's very wisely said, man. I think that is something that everyone should aspire to. Of course, there are certain groups and there are certain ideologies that, without doubt, are out to harm you. I think I've become fairly good at recognizing those, and and I think that we should fight with that. We should find ways of trying to basically find a balance of how do we maintain a state of peace, but we also don't get pushed around, and we also don't get threatened. I think there is a fine line for that. But at the end of the day, it's important to remember that everyone is human, and there's things that have led each human to the path that they're on now, and if the path that they're on now is one that is detrimental not just to themselves but the rest of the world, then that's something that needs to be tackled at its root, which is again why it's so valuable for you and I to be able to have open discussions like this and to be able to openly criticize, whether it's religion, whether it's some of these acts, or whatever it is. Criticize anything and everything should be up for criticism as far as I am concerned, and I
Exactly.
think that one big issue with our world, in the modern world, and obviously I'm going to wrap things up here shortly, but one thing that I think is important to always keep in mind is that with our world, one of the biggest issues is the fact that when something is so strongly portrayed as the victim, then it somehow becomes immune. So, the important thing that I would want to encourage all of us to try and do is to simply try and be more vulnerable. Christopher, it's been an absolute fucking pleasure to have you back on the podcast. I'm very glad that you are here. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And thank you for capturing probably one of the most important pieces in black metal history outside of the music itself. So, do you have any final words to share with us here?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you're taking the time and the interest. I'm pretty sure many people is quite of interest about this. I got now that I was in Prague, many people, fans, bands, friends approached and said like, "I'm happy to see you here and happy to see that you're alive." So it feels pretty well, like to see like I got my inbox like I tried to answer to everyone when everything was after everything that I went through. That's why I thought it was easier just to post like in stories, like everyone could see and get updates, because the situation was not really like to sit down and answer to everyone like everything's going on. I mean, it was not easy. So I mean, I have to say probably with all the bands that there were there and all the fans that they were there, promoters and everything, that we share this kind of situation. We have built up a connection. I mean, many of them were my friends already. Many of others were actually people that I met after. I met at the place. I mean, but anything like that, it's like we share a situation that even when we were not some of them we were not close before. I have a friendship with Jonathan, for example, for so many years, and of course I was worried for him in a way that he was worried for us and for the others as well, and the people in general. To say it, I mean, we were sharing information as something that I missed to say in the hotels where the bands were. And at the moment, the guys from that worship came out of the hotel just to. Uh, they were not really sure what was like what to do, and they went out of the hotel. And a building collapsed in front of them, so it could be their hotel. We were talking about 30 meters away. They sent
Wow.
me photos. And said like I also asked right away, "Are you okay?" So like, yeah, we're okay, but there was like pieces of glass flying everywhere. They could have got hurt and killed there. I mean, so we build up a connection. Like when you are in a critical situation like that and you share it, you don't have to be best friends with some of them, but you have that connection that you understand.
Mm.
I understand what you went through because I was there going through the same thing. So you build that. So it feels now that I saw some of them in Prague, and you feel that. I mean, like for example, I saw the guys from Basak Saxa and God. I saw Ryan from Dead Worship as he was playing with Toribus in Prague. So we see each other, we hang out, and it feels we just. I mean, even when as we were going through the same situation, we were not in the same hotel, we were not sharing physically like in the same place. We knew we were happening. Were what was happening to them was the same what was happening to me, and we look at each other now. It's like, fuck, I'm glad you get it out. Like, shit, the same for you. So it's like, good to see you. How you doing and stuff? How you been? So feels you that's a connection that it will stay forever. I'm pretty sure if I see them in 40 years, we will still remember that day like yesterday. I mean,
Mm.
I don't want to that create an impact in my life to the way that I will live under that, because I just try to move on. I came back Monday. On Friday I was doing already a photo session. Saturday I was already shooting a concert from Dismember in Stockholm. I mean, so I'm not getting stuck in time on living on something. I always try to move on. And that's something that I would like to tell everyone. If you've been in a traumatic situation like that, don't get stuck living on that forever. Move on, learn from the negative experience, and put that in your life in a way that you can move on and you can still live in. Learn from the situation and try to be a better person. It's the best
Yes.
I can say. I mean, don't get stuck, don't get yourself full of hate, because I'm not. Doesn't make it better. I mean, I honestly, I feel sad. People that I shared the festival in Israel, they wrote me later, like, and they said, "We're really happy that I'm really happy that you came and took the chance to come here and share your art with us. I've been a big fan of your work for long ago. I hope this doesn't change in the future, that you will never come back to the country." And I said, I
Mm.
can't wait until the moment that things get back to normal at least, and I will be back again and I will share with all of you again, definitely. I'm honored that people were so worried in in this situation where they were suffering. They were still worried that I will have a wrong impression about them, and they were apologizing to me. I was like,
Wow.
dude, you don't say sorry, please.
Mm.
Right now, be careful, stay alert, and take care of your family. That's what I tell them. Like they were running to their shelters and stuff, and they were still writing me like, hey, don't get a wrong perception about us. That's being human, and I hope people
Absolutely.
understand that, and
I think that's very powerful,
see
man.
and understanding the world like we are just people. No one, even when someone in the metal scene, for example, you can see sometimes like elitist attitude and stuff like that. Like I'm this band proud and stuff or whatever. You're still a person. You don't know how you're gonna fucking react when you get in a place like that. I mean,
Yeah, well, that's
uh,
like, I think, one of them things, where everyone kind of has their own different
mm,
impressions of things, and until you're in that position and until you've experienced that,
mm.
you
So I
can't
wish people will
really
see
tell
it
for
in a way
sure.
and learn. I mean, this is an eye opener. for many people. And I really hope that, I mean, it's the last. What I can say, the last is like, yeah. I mean, was not a pleasant experience. Not my first unpleasant experience ever. I hope it's the last one. I'm getting older. I'm getting tired.
Barely.
I mean, I mean, I'm an adrenaline junkie and always pushing myself to get out of my comfort zone. As you know, and I said before, I will keep pushing. I will keep going. I will keep my career as a photographer, that I hope that I'm not gonna be living in this photo that I took or this experience in the next 30 years. I will work to continue going. I told Bjorn, I've been waiting to collaborate with you for so many years. This is the first collaboration that we do, and we create fucking history. I don't know what we're gonna do next, but it's gonna be fucking dangerous for sure. So
No,
I mean,
that's fantastic, man. Listen, brother,
that's the
you
way.
know, I love what you do. Keep up your energy, what it is that you do, and the message. I'm all for it, you know. And
Thanks,
yeah, and thank you once again for coming onto the
thanks to you.
podcast. And yeah, my pleasure. And to everyone else listening to the episode so far, I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I know I did. And yeah, and be sure to support Christopher's work. And we'll see you on the next episode of Iblis Manifestations. Cheers.
Cheers.